Yeah, I'd say like some of the biggest challenges I've gone through in my life probably just I was one of the third people to be integrated into a normal school. So to go from a special school into a normal school was quite a huge thing when you're used to being treated very differently to what a normal school was. So that was a big challenge for me, but that probably set me up well for the future because I had to like sink or swim. And so I sort of grew to make friendships and relationships with able-bodied people that way, and that led on to just going full-time schooling and not nothing after that. So I had nothing to do with special schools after that, and I think that challenge sort of led me into doing better things like trying to improve myself studying wise and that sort of stuff, and then getting full-time employment. Obviously, like any 18-year-old, I was still living at home then, and once they start giving you money and you think, well, what's the next challenge? I'm living at home, I've got no cost or expenses, so the challenge was going out and enjoying yourself. And so we were sort of at the front of like CADs and that sort of stuff. There was only like about 3 wheelchair accessible CADs when I first started going out, and like now like taxis are everywhere and that sort of stuff. So the most challenging things probably for me have just been what's challenging now is people actually remembering I'm still disabled and I'm still in a wheelchair. So at work, people forget that I'm in a wheelchair, they forget that I'm disabled and that sort of stuff all the time. So constantly reminding that actually, you know what, I can't do that. I can't go to that conference because there's stairs at that place, or I can't go to that bathroom because I've just the wheelchair accessible bathroom 7 floors away. So that sort of stuff is the kind of things I look forward to challenging, and I enjoy that because I think that's great. They don't look at me and that sort of thing. That first going out and working was a real challenge to me and really scary because no one else I knew with a disability was doing it, especially in a wheelchair. Electric wheelchair with a neuromuscular condition. No one was doing that. So there's a lot of scary things about what could happen, what kind of assistance would I need? Would I need a carer there with me full time? That sort of stuff. How would I get to work? How would I get home? So that was very challenging at the time. But once we all worked it out, it's amazing how easy it became and how great it is. They never employed anybody with a neuromuscular condition before, or an electric wheelchair in the office. No one had done much of that at all. Most people in electric wheelchairs are working from home on their own circumstances and that sort of stuff. So those challenges are like getting people to understand that I would need a desk at the correct height. The office would have to be set up for me properly. I would need a toilet I could access. I would need some leeway in if something was physically hard to do. It might take me a little bit longer to do that sort of thing. That was sort of the challenges that happened, and then a further challenge on top of that, because I would do things like, if they had social events and I want to go out to work drinks afterwards, they'd have to start thinking about, well, hang on, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get home? How are we going to get Tom there? Can you drink? Can you do anything? And that led to other challenges in my life. You start doing relationships and that sort of stuff as well. So, these were all first things for me, and because I had no one in front of me showing that this could be done. So, they were all challenging to me. I suppose to overcome them was really just myself realizing that it was fine to be me. There was nothing wrong to be different, or I could do things, I might just have to be differently. So we have the same issues as everybody else does, but just have to think through it differently. I think if you are having challenges and you are feeling a bit out of sorts on yourself, I think it's important to remember who you are. And that's all that matters, and not to worry about what the world thinks or what the world thinks you should be. I say you should just be what you want to be, and if you want a job, you should try to go and get a job. You shouldn't stop thinking, it's going to be hard. Everything's going to be hard, no matter what you do. It's hard to make toast. It's hard to do anything. Anything's hard. It's hard to scratch your nose, that stuff, but we can work things out. So it's like people adjust their PlayStation controls so they can play their PlayStations better because they can't move their hands as easy. It's like, people have light switch set up at low levels and that sort of stuff so they can turn it off and on. People have assistance. So anything is possible. So I think if anyone's having any challenges out there, they should think accepting that's impossible is not the way to go. You should always look for a solution and talk to people. I think just asking anybody else, I think if you get involved with some organisations, like some social people with other people with disabilities, they quite often have great ideas that you may not know that someone else had that same problem that you've got. So if you see that person, you might be able to, you might come up in conversation, you might talk to them. So it's going to be rare that an able-bodied person's going to know exactly what you're going through, because unless they're in that situation, they're not going to know. So that's why it's important to join some sort of circles or if you want social media groups or something like that you can bounce things off and that sort of stuff.